So the Trojans that we created so far are very cool. They can bypass antivirus programs. They run two pieces of code. The first one runs in the background, which runs our own code, which does what we want to do. For example, open a port or connect back to us and give us a shell. And it runs another piece of code that the user expects. So it could display an image, it could play an MP3, or display a PDF file. This functionality makes it very difficult to detect. So the best thing to do is, the first thing is check the properties of the file and make sure that it is what it's claiming to be. So we have our GTR picture here, and we can see that it's JPG, so it looks like a picture and has an icon, and if I run it, I'll get a picture like we've seen in previous videos. But let's go right click and go on properties. And when we go to the properties, you'll see that this is an application, it's not a picture. So same goes with PDF, same goes with MP3. It should say MP3 if it was an MP3, it should say a PDF if it was a PDF, and it should say a JPG if it is a JPG. But in this case, we can see that it's saying, and it's telling us that it's an executable. Going on the details, you'll see that it is an application. So it's not a picture. If it was a picture, it should tell you that it's a picture. So from here, we'll know that we're being fooled by this. Another thing, you can play with the file name and you'll be able to reset it. If you just rename the file to anything else, you'll see that it's an exe file and it's not a JPEG. So if I just do it, change it to test, you'll see that the name has been changed to test. Now let's assume this Trojan was combined with an executable. So if you run it, you were expecting to get an exe and you were expecting an application. So if it's, let's assume that it's combined with download accelerator plus instead of being combined with a picture like so. So the task is going to be more difficult because you are expecting an application anyway. So let's try to run this. Now obviously, again with the picture and with the PDF, Windows will tell you that you're trying to run an executable. But if you're expecting an executable, then you're gonna run it anyway, such as the case with DAP. And this will obviously play the executable that you're looking for and send a reverse session to Kali. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a tool called Resource Manager. And from this tool, if you go to the Network tab, I'm already in the Network tab, you'll be able to see all the open ports in your machine. And we can see here we have port 8080, and it's connecting to an IP address which is 10.20.14.203. Now obviously 8080 is not very suspicious, so even if it was on 80, then it could look not as suspicious. And also it's coming from a process called browser, which again is not very suspicious. The suspicious part is the remote address. So it's accessing an address of 10.20.14.203 that we just don't even know what it is. If it was a website, then putting this in the browser should take you to a website or to a server of that website. And in most cases, if this was a hacker computer, it will not take you to a website or anything, and then you'll know that this person is an attacker. To verify this, you can use tools called reverse DNS lookup. What that does is basically you give it an IP and it should tell you what website this IP belongs to or which domain this IP belongs to. So let's have an example on Facebook. So let's say in your resource manager, you've seen an IP and you're suspicious about it. So I'm actually going to get you a proper IP address for Facebook. So let's say, for example, you've seen this IP, there's a connection on port 80 going to this IP. So if you copy this and go on Google and search for reverse DNS. So I'm going to put the IP in here, the IP that you see in your resources, and you look it up. If it's for a proper website, then there's nothing to be concerned about. If it looks suspicious, then you'll know that this is going to a suspicious person. Now, if you see something like this and it's going to Facebook and you're browsing Facebook, then this is normal. You're using Facebook, so there's a connection between you and Facebook.